In our last tutorial, we worked on animating an object, putting in keyframes, and then moving the object and putting in another keyframe, and moving the object and putting in another keyframe. That is one way to animate, and when we want to do very intricate animation, we might want to do something like that. But this is a different way to quickly animate an object using the computer and putting it to work for us. So I'm going to go ahead and click out of my introductory screen, press the letter A. That deselects everything, press it again, selects everything, press X, I'm going to delete. Now I'm going to Shift A, and that's going to get us to our adding menu. I'm not going to add a mesh this time, which has the basic meshes that we can use. We'll add more and do some complex meshes another time. But I'm going to add a curve. I'm going to come to the side and come down and add a path. A path doesn't look like much, it's just a little yellow or orange line to begin with. In fact, we won't even see this object in our final animation. But if we press the Tab key, we're going to enter into the edit mode, and now we can see the arrows. And don't forget, you can also change back and forth between object and edit mode by clicking down here into the menu that pops up. So now I've got my path. Looks pretty boring. But it is important to notice the arrows because this is where it's going to start and this is where it's going to end. It's going to move in this direction. So we're going to change this a little bit. We are in edit mode, so we can change things around. I'm going to click on the last vertice. I'm going to raise that up, and this moved up our path, but you can see that the computer automatically kept it down at the bottom, and you can see that we can move on the next vertice, and we can move this path. We can stretch it out, we can make it shorter, we can squish it together, we can move it around. It's very elastic, kind of almost like a rubber band. Well, at this point I'm going to leave that around there. I'm going to click on another vertice, move it off to the side, and I'm going to click on the first vertice. I'm going to bring that up a little bit. I want more of a curve, so I'm going to bring this vertice and bring it down a little ways. And it looks like a neat, interesting path to begin with. I'm going to add some more path at the end. We're going to extrude. So I'm going to press the E button, and I'm going to extrude more of a path off to the side pretty quickly. I'm going to press the E button again. It's going to come back. And I'm going to press the E button again. I'm going to bring it to the side. I'm going to press the E button again, bring it down here, E, bring it up here. So you can see I made a pretty complex path just to begin with, pretty fast, pretty rapidly. So at this point, if you are building your path, you can go ahead and pause the video, and you can make your path as intricate as you'd like. So I'm sure you're going to come up with something very interesting. You can make it as straight or as curved as you would like to do. Make it into a nice little roller coaster ride for your object to go on. So at this point, I'm going to press the Tab button, and I'm going to go back into object mode. I can still see my path, but now we're going to use it. I'm going to press Shift A, and I'm going to come in with a mesh, and let's grab in a cone. We're going to grab a cone because we're going to point it in one direction. We're going to show you how the computer will take the first point, and we can tell the computer to follow that entire path all the way around. Let's line it up a little bit first. I'm going to press S, and that's going to scale it, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to move it back over close to where we're going to be on this. Now I'm going to press the R key. When I press R, we can rotate or turn the object. I'm going to want the object to be turned kind of in the direction of my path. I'm going to move it around just a little bit closer to the beginning. And at this point, now that I have my object selected, kind of in the position I want it to be, I'm going to come up to the top right, and I'm going to find the constraint button. It's in with all these interesting buttons off to the side, with the render key and everything that we pressed before and the modifier. We're going to press the constraint key. We're going to add an object constraint, and we are going to come down to follow path. There's lots of interesting things in here to follow, but this time we're going to follow path. In a complex scene, you will have possibly many different paths, and you will be naming each path to where you won't get confused on which path it's going to start on. But this time we only have one path, so we're going to click in the target, and we click on the object, and we select NURBS path. That's the path that we just had. Now I'm going to click on Follow Curve. Let's go ahead and bring our object back down over to the beginning of it. Let's rotate our object again a little bit more. However it's going to end up, we're going to watch which face it follows the curve with. Now that I've clicked on Animate Path, I'm going to come down here and click on the Animation button, and we can see our object will follow the path. Our object stopped because we have so many frames at the end. We don't need all 250 frames to get this object to travel from here to there. So let's go back. Pay attention to where our animation stops. It's around frame 110. I'm going to come down here to the end, and I'm going to change it to say 110. That takes out all of the extra frames at the end. We don't need those anymore. Let's go ahead and reverse that, and let's press play. And we can see our object is actually following the path as we told it to be. It's not just randomly moving through. So this is how you can animate an object, move it around, add some curves to it, change some different things. And we haven't solidified anything, so if we wanted to go back and change how our animation was functioning, we just go back, select our path, press Tab, get back into the edit mode, and let's say, oh well, this, I want to make this over here, and let's put this, let's make this over there, and I'm going to press the letter G and really move it out there a little ways, and let's make this a little bit more off to the side, pull this way over here, and then I've changed around my path a little bit. Now I'm going to press Tab, come back to my original object. I'm going to press play, and automatically the computer changes everything to follow the new path that you have constructed. So go in there, enjoy making a path, make a complex little path and an animation for your object to follow, and then go ahead and see if you can go back to the last tutorial and make a movie out of it. See if you can redo all that to make a movie out of this little animation that you've made. Once you've done that, please upload your file to the Submit Assignment button, and I can't wait to see the interesting thing you've come up with.